Hi guys, this video is going to cover you're a bad person. You don't have to have any illness, or I feel like people struggle with this, or at least I struggle with this idea, this thing that you hold internally that says that you're a bad person, or maybe you feel low. Am I a bad person? We question this all the time, like, am I a bad person? Is this my fault? Now, this is a really weird thing to talk about, but your life is almost like a book. It's divided into chapters, or years if you like, and if you want the truth, everybody's done something bad. Everybody's done something that they can look back and say, I'm ashamed of that. And it doesn't have to be a huge shame, like if you murdered someone. It can be like shame that you did something, I don't know, small, but you're thinking, well, that doesn't match up with my morals and I can't deal with it. Now, I believe that you can do really bad things, and the things that you did don't necessarily, I mean, this is obviously like talking about your generic person. It's not like discussing like absolutely every solution in the world. Some people are bad people. Let's just put it that way. I believe that some people are bad people. I don't know if I think that you are born a bad person. I think it's more a choice. Your choices can make you a bad person. Bad decisions can make you a bad person. And no sort of concept of reality. If you don't have an open mind and this idea that you can have fault that can lead into you becoming or being a bad person. The average person can have nasty qualities, but I don't think it makes them a bad person. At the same time, I feel like bad people can often be mistaken for good people because they do a good thing. There's doing things, and then there's what you mean, there's your intent. And I think that your intent shows what sort of person you are, whereas your actions should sort of follow what you intend to do, and most of the time they do, but sometimes when someone's manipulative, they'll do something and it'll appear to be nice, but the intent behind it is actually nasty. So in that situation, that kind of makes them a bad person, if you like. If you can say, I've done this, and I admit it was wrong, and you can admit to fault, like most people who can admit to fault, I would say they're probably not bad people. Like, if you have been in a situation you thought, that was wrong, like I was in the wrong in that situation, that was me and I was wrong, I don't think you're a bad person. Obviously, like I said, please don't say, well, what about if that, like in this situation and somebody's done this to a child, or like, that's not what I'm talking about. I don't want to get into that kind of stuff. Not like illegal. I'm on about, everyday things, everyday happenings in general, not like blown out of proportion. I think I've struggled with this. I've done stuff and I've come out of it like, well, am I a bad person? Often when people ask me that, it strikes me that the people who tend to ask if they're bad people, or think that they're bad people, or go over it in their mind, I don't think they'd be asking if they genuinely were bad. The reason why is because bad people tend to have no self-reflection. They never criticize anything. And the criticize doesn't have to be bad or good. It's like this not ever thinking about things, letting emotions constantly run over your actions, never evaluating anything. If I have an argument, for example, I always evaluate, well, was that cool of me? And a lot of the times I know after I've sat down where I was wrong, as well as I know where I think other people are wrong, and I try to have a discussion about it and I try to get their point of view. Obviously, in the heat of the moment, everybody does stuff that is stupid or says things that are cruel. Honestly, your intent doesn't really have to do with emotion a lot of the time. If you did something out of anger, you can say, well, I was angry and that was wrong. I feel like you have a reasoning, but you're also saying, well, that was wrong, and you're admitting to fault there. And everybody does that. That is just human nature. Being a bad person means that you go around with the intent of hurting other people and sabotaging other people being manipulative, making excuses for everything that you do, hiding behind a shield and putting a mask on all the time that says that you have no fault and that you are without fault, really. If you do something bad but your intention was good, it's questionable over whether you are a bad person, to be honest. We all make mistakes, and mistakes are not bad. We all lose people due to mistakes. People are going to leave you. That's the truth of it. You're going to lose friends. You might lose family members. You are going to lose, and I'm not on about dying. I'm on about, things change. People change. Like, we can't grow together. Most people have friends according to where they are in their life. I have like one friend that I have known for a ridiculous amount of time. I've known this particular person since I was 7 years old, and we are still friends. But a lot of the people that I was friends with, I can't be friends with anymore, because either we just naturally drifted apart, or there were too many issues within the friendship. And sometimes I don't always think that even when you argue in a friendship, I don't always think that it's because somebody is a bad person. I'm not going to talk about my case because I've kind of already covered it, but sometimes I think that it is literally just you're just not compatible anymore. Like, you're arguing all the time, you're both being spiteful. It doesn't make anybody a bad person, it just means that you aren't compatible anymore and that you both need to move on. You will lose people. People will blame you for things. You will blame people for things. We all do it. But your intent, if you are a bad person now and you think I am a bad person, my question to you is, what are you going to do to change that? You don't have to be a bad person, even if you are one. Your intent, you can change everything about you. Holding the door open for people, just not being rude to people. Start with small things, like do things and not for your own self-gain and not because you're going to gain something out of it. These are the things that people like about other people. Next time you see someone on their own, go and sit with them. Leave a nice comment under a video instead of like a death threat under a video. Just ignore things. If you were gonna say something nasty and cruel, don't say it. What you've done, what your past is, in fact, I'm gonna apply this to like most people, is that your past does not dictate your future. Your past never has to. Like, it doesn't have to be you now. You could have been a dick 10 minutes ago, but now you're not going to be that person anymore. You are going to change. And honestly, your intention is so important. What you intend to be. It's not about who you were, because like the present is the only thing that matters at the moment. If you've done something and you think that was horrible, just don't do it again. Yeah, you're going to lose people probably. And everybody loses somebody at some point due to something. And it doesn't mean that you've lost everything. It just means that you're going to have to start again, effectively. Like, if you lose a friend and they were your main friend, you're going to have to start over again and find another friend. This doesn't even have to be directed at bad people. But a lot of the time, if you clicked on this video because you searched it, and you searched, am I a bad person? You're probably not. Honestly, you're not. Self-worth is an innate thing. We can't deal with anything good in our head focuses on and criticizes everything and makes it bad. Like, some things you're honestly just making them worse than they are. Everybody's done something embarrassing. Don't blame yourself all the time. This is the issue that I have sometimes, is that I'll do something and I'll be confident. Always trust it. If you think, oh yeah, I'm fed up with this, like, say it's with a person. If your gut feeling says that no, I don't want this anymore, that's not a bad thing. You're allowed to feel certain things. You're allowed to feel emotions. And this is the other thing. Emotions don't dictate on what kind of person you are. You can feel angry or jealous or all of these other bad emotions. They don't dictate your personality. They don't dictate who you are. If you feel angry every day, but you've never hurt anybody, you just feel something, why is that a bad thing? You've not used it against anybody, and if you have, you can get help with that. You can change that. You don't have to be that person every day. A bad person is literally about you, isn't it? It's about what you think. It's about what you're telling yourself. And don't. If you tell yourself something enough, you'll believe it. If you tell yourself that you can't be a good person, then you're just setting yourself up for failure. Really, there's no such thing as good or bad. What there is your own morality. You are not good or bad, but you can be good in your eyes, like somebody else can be good in your eyes. You have to live, and we all do, to how you think is right. Nobody else can change you other than you. You have to do the things that you believe are right. I'm not saying go out there and just do whatever the hell you want, but I'm saying that to all intents and purposes, if you want to do something, you'll do it. You know what I mean? Nobody can stop you, but what I'm saying is that you have to do what you think is right. You have to know in your head what you think is right and what you think is wrong, and challenge yourself when you do things that are wrong and admit to it. Like, there's no shame in saying, I did that wrong. That was mean of me. I've done stuff. I've learnt to accept some of the things I've done. I still live with things where I have shame over them, but they're not necessarily bad things. It's just that other people attack me for them. I feel insecure about it. Like, maybe it's your image, or your height, or your eye colour, or your skin colour, or your hair. Maybe you have some sort of thing that people picked up on and just were horrible to you about. Like, even a disability or a medical condition, people can be nasty about those types of things. It's almost like it's your fault, and how can it be your fault that you have that thing? There is nothing wrong with you, it's just that there's something wrong with the people that do that to you. I don't know where this video is going, but I wanted to talk about it. It's something I've struggled with. Like, I've literally had days where I've just thought, well, am I a bad person? Is that why this is happening? But no, I don't think it is. Things happen because they happen. And if you screw up and you make a huge mistake, there is a way out of it. You can come back from it. You might not be able to have the same life as you had. I don't know, in relationships and stuff, maybe you did something bad, you screwed that up, but honestly, I have come out of situations where I thought, I'm never going to get out of it. And it wasn't because I'd done anything bad, but it was just that it didn't end up panning out, and like, a lot of things happened at one time. And that's really hard when everything collapses at once. That is kind of what's made me relapse recently, but there is a way out of it. It's not great, my life at the moment, but it's not terrible. It's just sort of, I can cope with it. It's alright. Anyway, if there's anything you want me to talk about, I will talk about it, but don't expect me to make a lot of sense. I'm going to have to do so much editing. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And just have a nice day, and don't dwell on things that genuinely are internal. Like, a lot of these things that we think are just internal. They're not a reflection of you or your worth or anything like that. Bye.